We're going to go first question over to Ryan Hennessey.
Devonta, exciting to come back. Overall, just what are your feelings to finally have football back this Saturday?
It's been a long time, just from wondering if we were going to actually have a season to knowing that we were going to have one, and now it's finally here. So just very excited to be back.
Over to Michael Casagrande.
You're just wondering about. He's also listed as a starter. What has he done this offseason to improve and to step into that role?
Say it again. I didn't hear the name.
We missed that beginning part.
John Mechie, how has he improved to step into a spot where he'd be a starter?
He's improved a lot just from getting in the playbook, learning more things, getting it down, and just becoming a better player overall with his technique and just going out there playing fast.
Over to Tony Scalise.
Yeah, Devonta, you've gone against this secondary, in practice. Do you think that what do you think they have to offer, and how far away are they from kind of coming into their own?
I think they've came really far just from them getting out there, understanding things, being on the same page. The communication is better. You see it, and them just being happy and excited just to be here.
Gotcha. You got it now?
Yep, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. Devonta, you assess how far Bryce Young has come in terms of adjusting to that steep learning curve that goes from high school to college.
He's came really far. I don't think he's really had a problem with learning things. I think it all came kind of naturally to him. So he's been doing great. It's just that it's a few things that us as an offense we have to get better at, and we're going to work on that. But he's learning very well.
Over to Edwin Stanton.
Hey, Devonta, can you tell me a little bit about your relationship with Mac Jones and what y'all have done this year to kind of get on the same page and just be more of a dynamic receiver-quarterback combo, and just talked about stepping up as being more of a primary receiver this year?
A lot of after hours, not with just me, but me, Mac, and the rest of the receiver corps. Just a lot of after hours, getting the connections down, getting the timing down. And Mac, he understands the importance of being a starting quarterback and the things that he has to do. And he's came a very long way, and I'm excited for him.
Over to John Zenner.
Yeah, Devonta, more on Mac Jones. How much has he kind of established this as his team? And, replacing Tua, which guys like that don't come along very often. Can he still lead just as dynamic or nearly as dynamic an offense, do you think?
Yes, I believe in Mac the same way I believed in Tua. Just as far as him being a leader, just when we come to the sideline after we take our reps and just the things we talk about or what didn't go right on the play or what we could have did better or what we seen, just that lets me know that he's in for it and he's ready to be a leader and to lead this team where we need to be led to.
We'll go over to James Ogletree for the last question for Devonta, unless there's any others.
Hey, Devonta, you guys have talked for several years about how all the receivers kind of practice and train at every receiver position. I was just curious if you could kind of break down the differences in how you might play the X, the Z, the H, like what goes into playing each of those.
They are really the same. It's really all the same. You just have to learn it. It's really just different letters based on formations of where you line up at, but everything's the same. You can be at any position at any time.
Back over to Jeff Spiegel.
Devonta, how do you like the challenge of the 10-game conference game-only schedule? Does that keep you guys locked in week in and week out and focused?
I think the biggest challenge is the recovery part. A lot of people just think that you can just come here, practice, and go home and you're going to be feeling fine, but you have to take care of your body from the nutrition to being in the training room, the little bumps and bruises. I think that's the biggest thing is just staying on top of your body and keeping yourself healthy.
One more over to Tony Scalise.
Hey, Devonta, you're a guy that played both positions in high school. In the event that you would have to do that, how confident are you maybe switching over to the defensive side of the ball if called upon?
I do whatever to help the team. Whatever they need me to do, I'll do it.
All right. Thank you, Devontae. We'll go ahead and bring up the next player.
Hey, Dylan. Just wanted to ask you about Will Anderson, the freshman outside linebacker, and what have you seen from him so far in practice?
Oh, man, he's a really great player, athletic, strong. He actually reminds me of myself, when he first came in, just with, being already physically ready, to be on a college level, so I expect great things from him this year.
Over to Ryan Hennessey.
And obviously everyone really excited that football's back, but you specifically, does it mean a little bit more coming up this Saturday, this game day?
Oh, yeah, of course. It means a lot to me. I waited for this moment for a very long time, but at the same time, I'm just trying to take it one day at a time and enjoy it every day and, get better with my teammates every day.
Go ahead, James Ogletree.
Hey, Dylan, Coach just talked about all the different things that Missouri might try to do offensively, looking back at things their coaching staff has done at previous stops. Was just curious about your assessments of just what you think you might be facing from them on Saturday in terms of their running game, potentially a mobile quarterback, all of that.
Honestly, being that it's the first game of the season, I'm expecting, them to throw a lot of different things at us. Probably things that we're probably not used to and probably things we haven't even seen on film, so you have to be prepared at all times. And at this point, I'm just ready to play again.
Tony Sikolas, go ahead.
Hey, Dylan, I was going to ask you about your chemistry with Christian Harris, and how is that going, and how is your partnership on the field?
Our chemistry goes back a long time. I've been knowing Christian since, I was probably about 6 or 7. We ran track together, AAU track a long time ago. And ever since then, that relationship is built and it's carried over onto the field. We play off of each other.
Brett Hudson, over to you.
Yeah, Dylan, I'm curious, what does it take to run the communication in a defense as complicated as this one? What qualities do you have to do that well and do it effectively?
First and foremost, you just have to be confident in yourself. I've been in this defense, for this is going on my 3rd year. Like being here, for a long time and, sitting back and watching other guys do the job and, taking notes and from that, it's actually helped me become the leader that I am and it's helped me like becoming, the signal caller that I am. So it's not as hard as you think it is, once you're actually comfortable with it.
Jeff Spiegel, go ahead.
Hey, Dylan, kind of a 2-part question, but I know you're an emotional player. You're very emotional when you're out there on the field. What will your emotions be like when you're in the tunnel before you get back on the field Saturday? And also, I wonder if you tell me how much more you appreciate the game now than you did before.
As far as my emotions going into this week in this game, I'm really calm. You would think that I'd be very antsy, but I'm not. I'm just taking it one day at a time. I'm very happy, and I'm just appreciating every moment that I have with my teammates and my coaches. As far as just like being able to play again and all that, like I said, I'm excited, and I appreciate being able to play the game of football again. Not being able to play is really brought back my love for the game. And every time I go out on that field, it's gratitude. I'm happy. You got to appreciate the little things in life.
Haley Sutton, over to you.
Hey, Dylan. One of the things that Coach Saban really talked about was having players have the ability to create value for themselves while they're at Alabama. During this preseason time, have you seen yourself create that value, and what are your expectations for building that value this season?
Oh, of course, every single day. Since I decided I wanted to come back, it started from jump. I did everything I could, up to this point to, develop myself, mentally, physically, in all aspects of my life. And as far as, just wait, say that question again? I kind of lost myself.
That's okay. I just asked kind of what your expectations for yourself were this season to kind of continue to build that value.
Oh, yeah. Well, as far as, continuing to build that value, like I said, it's just taking it one day at a time. And I go into practice with the intent, of just bettering myself. I don't try and do more or less. I just go in and, grind every single day. And I try and, rub that off of my teammates. And I feel like at this point, we've developed that as a whole and, we're ready to play.
Over to Mike Rodak.
Dylan, Nick Saban over the weekend mentioned his own hip surgery and kind of compared it to your injury in the sense that there's a mental hurdle to overcome in getting back. Just how much has he talked about that with you? And then from a broader standpoint, how much do the two of you talk on a week-to-week basis, just one-on-one, given your role in the defense and his defensive background?
We talk a lot, but at this given moment, I feel like that Coach Saban is really comfortable with me. Ever since, I've been back, he noticed that, everything's been going smoothly as far as me running the defense, and I feel like he's comfortable with that. As far as, just me talking about, my injury and all that and the mental block, that was one thing I did have to overcome. And, one day, he met with me about it because he noticed my play wasn't the same because I spoke with some people and told them, it just wasn't, I just didn't feel the same as far as, the mental aspect, and I kind of felt like I was holding myself back. So whenever I spoke with Coach Saban one day, he brought it to my attention, from that day forward, I challenged myself, to not think about it. And once, I started doing that, I started playing back 100% again.
We'll finish up with Brett Hudson unless there are any other questions.
To go back to the communication role and leading that in this defense, what's more important, having a solid grasp of the scheme or having a solid grasp of the game plan and what exactly you're trying to do based on the opponent? Which one of those is more important to running the communication?
What's more important for me is just having a solid grasp of the team. Like I said, you could have a lot of great players, a lot of great athletes, but if you don't have a bond or, just a relationship with the guys you're on the field with, then you'll never be able to have a fully great team or fully and do what you really want to do as far as winning championships. So I feel like in the offseason I really took the time to, develop relationships, make the guys comfortable with each other, and I feel like now, we're ready to play.
We'll go back over to Jeff Spiegel.
Dylan, how do you like the challenge of this 10-game conference game only schedule?
Oh, I love it. I love it. It's definitely a challenge. It's something that's never been done before. And with my mindset, I feel like, we take this season one game at a time and do what we need to do. Win one game of the season, 1-0 every week. We have the possibility to be the greatest team ever. And that's what I want. That's my end goal. Like anybody would think that I'm focused on the individual awards and all that, but ultimately it's not even that. I really want a team success, and ultimately that's what it is. I want to win a championship.
We'll finish up with the last question with AP Stedham.
Hey, Dylan. Dylan, you had a difficult year last year watching the games from the sideline. Mm-hmm. What would you like to see different from your defense this season?
As far as our defense, I just want to see toughness, grit. I want to strike fear in my opponents. I want it to be, just like how I used to be. As far as our culture go, that's what Alabama's identity is. And I want to bring that back.
Thank you, Dylan.
No problem.
That's all for today. Thank you, everyone.